out there, sorry? We got a fan going on back here.
Okay. I've lived in Greenpoint for 25 years on Oak Street, and I like Calvert. I brought up two kids in Greenpoint. I've been a board member of Rob since 2008 or so, and one of the things as a board member I did was founded the Friends of Bushwick Inlet Park, or what there is a Bushwick Inlet Park. So trying to fight to see Bushwick Inlet Park actually realized. A year ago, I was put on the committee board, and I'm trying to get the committee to come up with a new board for Rockland, to help along with Barbara and Rich create the board and create the new direction for Rockland, and hopefully lots of people in this room and beyond will get involved.
Oh, I forgot. I wanted to mention, I worked with Katie. We tried to get a skating rink, a temporary skating rink for the neighborhood and the kids. And Katie Napatarsky and I founded the McCarran Park Ice Skating Alliance, or I forget what it's called. But anyways, we were great advocates for the skating rink, and it was really great to get out there this year for the first time in McCarran Park.
My brother complained about the ice.
I know, it was like snow, right?
Too soft?
The cracks in the
Too hard.
You guys know.
It was one. Too hard or too soft. So we need it bigger and we have to improve the ice.
I wanted it in the old one.
That's what I thought they did.
Hi, my name is Helen Kirsten. I teach religion on Tuesday at St. Anthony St. Alphonsus. I'm 45 years old. I've lived here most of my life. I've moved away to the Rockaways for about 12 years. I enjoyed being around that community. They're very cohesive. My family, born and raised here, probably got about almost 100 years here. I'm interested in our parks, always have been. We have the least amount of parks for the amount of space. We have most of our children in poverty, and I don't think the parks offer them an outside place. We are in rental area. So coming from that, I'm very into, I did get 500 bulbs for tulips for our community and moving them out this year
Nice.
to everybody, older people, younger people, who wanted to plant. I did it on my own because I just really like flowers. I always try to plant. And I got 2 trees this year from Frank Fisher, the park, whenever the community got.
Oh, the little one where next to the stadium.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I'm really interested in being on this to see go forward and not so much as a frat party. This is what I'm seeing in the park now, because I deal with them every Tuesday and they're just like, there's nothing for them to do in the park. They're watching older people like walk around.
Yeah.
No, and it's true, you know.
That's a big deal.
It's a lot of
My
competition.
name is Jeanette Rocco. I have 5 friends.
All right.
So I can't really talk long. My family's been here for over 100 years, and I care very much about this community. A couple of years ago, I got a petition up. I got 500 signatures for the health department coming for the lots. Don't like it. We put up a lot of parks. There was no one looking for the lots. And when there's holes everywhere, no one's cleaning. There's only a certain amount of cops per 5 boroughs. Only there are 15 parks cops. That's it. So the more green we put up, the less cops we have for those patrolling areas. There's not enough parks people to take care of them. If we don't get volunteers for all these little parks, it's not going to work. It's going to cause disease, if you will.
So you talk about vandalism in parks?
I'm talking about vandalism, filth, rats. It's going to be
The rats are,
if the city cannot afford to put parks people in all the parks that are popping up, who's going to take care of them?
I know Winthrop Park got destroyed by
A
kids.
lot of parks.
And-
Karen was a disaster for weeks.
And it was new stuff that they were ripping up. There was nobody patrolling it. And I don't know if they fixed that or whatever. I know
You say
people
there's a
don't
lot of
fix
parks. You got Cherry Street, you got Winthrop, you got Karen, you got DuPont, you got Franklin, and you got all these little parks that are coming up on the block. That's a lot of parks. When was the last time you saw a parks office? It's 15.
The parks, an office in the park?
An officer.
Officer.
Officer for the parks.
I haven't seen one since I was a kid. They used used to keep us off the grass in McCarran Park when I was a kid.
That's what, yeah. Well, times have changed. Now there's not a lot of anything. People throw garbage, there's lots. I saw them, those pictures in the paper last year. I mean, don't get me wrong, the trees are beautiful, but don't sit there in the sun like that. Isn't that it?
Well, that is the crack files and the.
That's what I'm saying, and no one's there to clean it because they don't have enough people. So when you're trying to decide where you're gonna put the park, try to get a volunteer crew too, to clean it.
So that's got to be careful of what you wish for. We want more open space, but
Exactly.
who's controlling
But you
it?
don't know when you're doing it. If no one's gonna control it, then what good is it? You're causing headache, filth.
You could be the chair of the community control. We'll give you guns.
I don't want that. I work for the city, I know we don't have people that have brains, I know that.
Well, I think when they dig up,
That's what I'm saying. If you want the parks, somebody's gotta step up and take care of it. A lot of communities have those people that walk around in the park. You know, a lot of them.
like a
You got
friend
cell
of,
phones, you don't have to have a gun.
That's a good activity.
I think if you see people, if there are people present, all the listening stops because they know that you're present and that by itself just.
But then again, and I was gonna say lights, if you keep the lights on. But then again, a lot of these parks are around residential areas. Look at what you did to McCarran Park. The lights are on, the soccer games are going at 2 in the morning. If I lived up the block, oh my God. You know, and I was able to hear the concerts, and I live on Collier and McGinnis. I was able to hear the concerts from the pool. That is, can you imagine living on right around Driggs Avenue? How am I supposed to sleep? You know? The lights never go out. You know, you gotta take, this is not, you know, I feel like I'm in the middle of Shea Stadium trying to go to sleep sometimes. So there's a lot of different ways you gotta look at it. You don't want green space, you don't want to wear that. You know, tomato garden is one thing, but bright garden is another.
I think when they dig up the waterfront, a lot of rats come up. You know, when they go into some empty lots.
There was no excavation on McGinnis Boulevard, and I caught 23 rats 2 years ago in my front gate. I had the health department come down, 23 rats.
When I came back to college.
The guy up the block caught 54.
Oh my God, that's
My
quite-
cats bring them home.
Well, I would get rid of that cat.
But they have a fierce cat, yeah.
I'm just, you know, I'm afraid of filth. They eat away at the property, and great, all the parks, but it was taking care of these parks. Walk around them. People let their dogs off the leashes, even though there's 10 dog parks. Okay. Anyway. All right, got it.
Rolf?
My name is Rolf Carl. I've been in the neighborhood like 30 years, I just figured out. One of the first organizations I was part of and helped found was a group called WOOP, which was Williamsburg Organized for an Open Process, and that was probably in the mid-90s. And it was when there was dealings with Northside Waterfront that weren't open up for the community to discuss, meetings that the community board were having. So a bunch of us got together and formed a group, really about process, like who's running the show here, how can you get involved. NAG was around at that time. I did a lot of volunteer work for NAG. When the power plant came along, not the one that GWAP was originally involved with when it was against power plants, but when the TG power plant came along, I was part of the group that fought that. The legal. There was actually the Greenpoint Williamsburg Waterfront Task Force, which was the legal entity. GWAP was part of it, NAG was part of it, CB1 was part of it. I believe the borough president's office was, but it was the legal entity fighting the TGE power plant. And it was structured in such a way. It's funny. I just found our old list before the internet. Well, it wasn't before the internet, but we had committees. We had a structure, and we had regular meetings. And you weren't part of the group unless you were doing something. If you were on a committee, You had to be doing something on the committee. It wasn't you're just, there for no reason at all. So process is kind of important to me. And I think that, just recently, I haven't been that involved with GWAP for quite some time. Although I don't think I was never involved with GWAP. I was involved with the task force. But GWAP immediately became kind of a different association about parks and planning, which mapped out a lot of, potential parkland along our waterfront, which I think was really necessary, and good job was done. But I was never really part of GWAP. And just more recently, I've just been hearing things like you guys haven't had a meeting in 7 years, and a lot of things were going on. So the process part of it kind of bothered me. Here you have GWAP with, a certain name, a certain reputation, yet structurally, process-wise, you weren't meeting, and it just makes, my curiosity gets the best of me. I'm like, who's really running the show here? It's a group that represents or claims to represent a large community, but how do things get filtered in so it really does represent the community? I believe it was you, was it, was on, at the last meeting, there were people on the GWAP masthead that didn't even know they were on or were never informed. So that kind of upset me because I think GWAP has had a name for quite some time, and all of a sudden there's this structural change, and it ignited my curiosity. So when that happens, I'm kind of force myself to follow through, see what's going on. So that's why I'm kind of here tonight. Curiosity.
You could be the new GWAP,
Sorry?
You could be the new GWAP.
I really don't want to be the new GWAP. I didn't want to be the old GWAP. I was a little skeptical of the old GWAP. Let me just frankly say this. We're fighting a power plant. I met the Greenpoint Williamsburg Association for Parks and Planning, Joe Vance. And we were organizing against this big enemy, this huge TG power plant with a lot of money. The next meeting we had, all of a sudden the name had changed, and it was Greenpoint Waterfront Association for Parks and Planning. And I was immediately like, here we're organizing. It's an organizational effort. And somewhere along the line, a group made a decision to change their name, which is, as far as I'm concerned, that's fine. But I never really knew how that name was changed from power plants to parks. And I don't want to be that judgmental, although I probably sound judgmental. But to me, it was always like, wait, what happened here? I was told at the time that it was all agreed upon. I believe Christine could tell you more, that NAG and GWAP switched board members. I was never privy to those meetings, so I don't really know. But again, my initial, the red flag for me was like, I knew this group fighting power plants. We organized to fight a power plant, and suddenly they're about parks and planning, and not even Williamsburg. And I brought it up at the time, and I was told what I just said. So,
Aside from process, Ralph,
Yeah.
what issues float your boat as far as,
the process is a big one. That's an issue that floats my boat. You hear you're
what-
restructuring,
I'm talking
and
about,
yeah,
whether it's
but that's what floats my boat. You don't.
For GWAP, and then you're gonna turn around and be somebody else without anyone else.
So that's why I'm here. What do I want? I want to see an organization that is democratic and that meets and isn't about a few people making decisions for a lot of people. Is that? I know you want me to say more trees. I want more trees. I don't like rats.
you don't like movies.
But I like to see a process, and I said enough.
All I have to add to what he says, thank you. My name's Heather. I'm here mostly because I just want to document this, post it online for people who are not present. That said, I really cannot add much to what Rolf said other than the word transparency.
Hi, my name is Mike Hoffman. I've been living here all my life, too long, 62 years. I'm a co-founder of Barge Park Pals. member of Newtown Creek Monitoring Committee. I'm a former GWAP board member on the Newtown Creek Alliance. My pet peeve right now is the Manhattan Avenue Street End Park. I want to know when they're going to fix the fence around this park. A car went through it a year and a half ago, and it's still not fixed. They have some kind of gates up, tied up, and they're waiting for somebody to fall into the creek. And I just want to see it fixed and get
Isn't that
more
where
parks.
They park their little canoes or something?
No,
A little further up?
Yeah, up by the bridge.
Maybe they needed that to get off their boat.
My name's Laura Hoffman. I am a co-founder of Barge Park Pals. Barge Park Pals was a member organization of GWAP for many years. I was a task force member on the same task force that Rolf just spoke about as a GWAP representative. I'm a former GWAP board member, so is my husband, and we actually remember problems from back when we were board members and member organization, having to do with transparency and being open, and we were voicing it back then. We pulled out of GWAP in 2011 and notified the board that we did. And since that time, I learned that the GWAP board continued to use the Barge Park Pals names on their letterhead, even used our name for support for the boathouse proposal. And I'm basically here to watch what's happening with the GWAP name, because I was part of the beginning of the birth of the organization. Maybe not one of the forefront founders, but soon afterwards. And I'm very bothered by all the things that Rolf spoke about with transparency and all of those issues. And I'm truly disappointed. I learned about the use of Barge Park Pal's name on the blog, on Heather's blog. So that says a lot for me. And I hope moving forward that this isn't going to be a case where the organization is going to continue using people's names, organization names, just for a couple of, with the goals of a few people. Because that name wasn't earned by just a few people. That name was earned by hundreds, if not thousands of people. And that's it.